Welcome to Grace. Never heard of her. I'm Gina.
And I'm Maddie. We're two moms, two friends, two overstimulated women navigating motherhood, new identities, and careers, all while challenging society's expectations and redefining what it means to do it all.
Because Grace, well, never heard of her, but word is she's worth getting to know.
We have made it to 2026.
Feels like a big number. 2026.
Yeah. I feel like I've lived 6 years in this year alone.
I completely agree. I mean, did you ever think that in 2026 you'd be waking up in Chicago and I would be waking up in New Hampshire?
No. That alone, the fact that I lived in a different state earlier this year, I lived in a different house, well, multiple houses in this same year, it feels like a lifetime ago.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we were both in the thick of it this time last year, trying to sell our home. You guys were getting ready to list your home.
When you lift up the covers now, right? These are not things that were talked about in the moment, but we were really keeping it under wraps. We weren't telling a lot of people that we were getting ready to list because it was, I don't know, it was one of those things where when we first moved to Austin, it was not with the intentions of, oh, we're going to move back. Like, this is just a stint. We really thought we were building our lives there and we were going to be closer to family and it was going to be more affordable and warm weather. I guess I'll start with saying this. I do not look at our stint in Georgetown as anything but a good decision. I'm so glad we went. I'm so glad we tried it. I mean, you and I would have never met had we not done that. So thank God. But we made so many good friends and we just have really good memories. But the biggest thing, the reason I'm so glad we did it is I would have always romanticized this idea of what it would have been like had we never gone days when it's, -7 here in Chicago. I would be like, why didn't we move to warmer weather? We don't need to be this miserable. But I learned, a fun fact about myself is that I'm way more miserable at 110 degrees than I am in 7 degrees. So, yeah, it is so weird to know that we're back. Not that I didn't see it as a failure. I guess I just didn't want other people to see it as a failure. I didn't want other people to think, oh, they made a mistake and now they're returning. And not that I think anybody that, at least that's close to me, not that I think anybody did feel like that, but it it was what we needed. I did live, a drive from my family. They helped out a lot in the newborn stages, but I think we just realized over time it just wasn't for us anymore. Like, it's not where we saw ourselves long term. And we were kind of waiting for a sign, if you will, or something to kind of give us that nudge. And then Chris's boss at the time was like, "Hey, I know you've told me in just passing, maybe someday you'll come back to Chicago, who knows?" They had this acquisition and there was going to be a lot of layoffs and stuff. And he's like, "They're looking to get rid of remote employees. So if you're ever thinking to move back to Chicago, now's the time." And we took that and ran with that. And so we're like, "Okay, we're doing it." But it felt weird too because it was all happening in the middle of you still trying to sell your home.
Texas was always a 5-year plan for us, and I don't know why we kind of put a 5-year stamp on it, but it's funny because I thought our next move would be a little bit closer to home, but not all the way home. So I had kind of my sights set on like the Carolinas, North Carolina. Really was thinking that would be kind of what we would start talking through as we got closer. And I don't know what happened, but there was a shift as soon as Parker was born. My parents were in town helping us out, and I swear I don't know what changed inside of me or like what clicked in my head. But I think like the week they were there after Parker was born, I was like, maybe we do need to be closer to family. Maybe we do
Yeah.
need to go back. And it wasn't that soon after that change. I think we started the process that December. Like Parker had just been
Yeah.
born and we started the process to list our house in December of 2023. It must have been.
Whoa.
Yeah. Officially listed in March of 2024. And we didn't sell until May of 2025.
What you guys had to experience with the home selling process is what nightmare fuel is made of. And funny, just to sidebar for a second, Maddie decided to tell us that you guys were listing your house on New Year's Eve when we were all celebrating our friendship and our
Yes.
amazing year. I was super pregnant with Jonah. And I think it was after the ball dropped. And you're like, we have something to tell you. And I was like, you're fucking moving, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm sorry.
I
You know what's,
know.
it's funny too. This sounds really, really weird, but I think I always looked at you guys as, I don't know, like an anchor for us in Texas. I guess I just could have never fathomed leaving and you guys staying in the sense of, well, if they can make this work without family, so can we, kind of thing. I always looked at you as that, maybe more of like a role model in that sense of we can do it if they can do it. And so once you guys made the choice to leave, it feels like it unlocked this permission in us to kind of say, you know what? Okay, maybe we do need to reevaluate if this is for us, because when you think of a cross country move, selling a home with two small kids, I mean it's crazy intense and stressful, and we can laugh about it all now cuz we're here, but the unknown is so scary. And so you guys pulling that trigger, I was like, okay, they're doing it, we can do it. So I guess thank you for that in a sense. I don't know if my parents would thank you, but it was really hard for us as friends, good friends of yours, to watch the struggle. Once again, we joke about this with you guys always just getting the freaking extreme of everything. The craziest part is your house is adorable, or I should say was, because it's not yours anymore, but I don't get it. It's like, what's wrong?
I know. We still don't know if it was our realtor strategy, if it was like our pricing, if it was the market, or again, like hated it at the time, but that the saying everything happens for a reason.
Ugh,
Timing is everything, which like
I
I
know.
could have punched everyone in the face that said that to me because, I mean, think about it. We listed our house in March. Parker was like 6 months old. I was still in the thick of postpartum. And here we are
Yeah.
having to keep our house staged and ready for showings at any given time, which let me tell
No,
you, they came at any given time. And with Zoe, we didn't get to enjoy her babyhood because it always felt like work. And I say this all the time, like it almost felt like the joy of having a brand new baby just got like sucked from everything because of everything extra we had to do with her. And
sure.
I feel that too with Parker. Like Parker was a completely different baby. It was a completely different experience for us, but there was so much added stress and
Mhm.
anxiety and just uncertainty on top of that. We couldn't necessarily be like 100% present or experience everything that we wanted to or could have because the challenges that we were going through of not being able to sell our home. I don't wish that experience on anyone, but on the flip side, I will say the timing. I needed to find a new job and I was
Right.
making it to like final round interviews but not getting the job. And
Ugh.
so I was having to restart that process. So on again, postpartum, new baby at home, trying to figure all that out. Tyler was also potentially having to find a new job. we just had so many moving parts that we had to kind of sort through that it is funny because looking back and kind of talking through it more, a lot of people say once, something kind of sticks, then like it changes the tides and things kind of start to fall into place and
Like the
work itself
domino
out.
effect.
Exactly. And it was. It was August of 2024. I got a new job that was fully
Right.
remote that was going to let us move back. And then we kind of just put a line in the sand and we're like, hey, if we don't sell by the end of the year, we're just going to move and figure it out because this is
Yep.
painful and stressful. And we just need to set things in motion.
Right. You're living in this purgatory right now, which is worse than just going forward and trying to figure it out. Because at least you're moving forward. There's nothing worse than just hurrying to wait. It's the worst feeling.
It was. That is exactly what we were experiencing. So we moved. We moved almost a year ago to the day.
Wow.
Which is wild. We moved into an 800 we moved from a 2,500 square foot home into an 800 square foot beach cottage in the dead of winter in New Hampshire. 2 young kids, 2 dogs, all of our stuff going into storage. So we
That's
only
right.
have the bags we packed and the stuff Tyler drove with. I flew with the kids. And it was really hard. It it was a big, big adjustment weather-wise, just everything was a big adjustment. It all just came at us at once. We were able to get Zoe a spot in daycare, but Parker, I was told might have a spot in January, and then come to find out they couldn't take him until March.
Oh my
So
God.
now I'm trying to find a nanny that will come to our 800 square foot home to watch one of my children while Tyler and I both try and work from this same location. And then finally, whatever, we got him into a daycare. So we were doing drop off at one daycare and then driving like 30 minutes to another daycare to drop him off for about a month until we got him settled. Then things started to kind of figure itself out. We found our new home and the sunshine was coming out and flowers were popping. And like truly, it was like everything just started to sort of go more our way. And it was the shift we needed. Like you could literally feel the weight lifting. You felt like you could breathe again. And it was just, I don't think we realized how, I mean, it was hard in the moment, but I don't think you realized how heavy it all was.
Sure. And that's why I think I get so maybe like more than normal excited when I see pictures of you guys just thriving. I mean, truly, it's like they made it. It feels like you walked through fire and you came out on the other side, and it's your point. Like the sunshine and the flowers were waiting for you, and it was like this was worth it because God forbid, could you imagine if the opposite, when you did all of that to find out like we made a mistake or we're not,
Yeah.
so when I see just so much joy, your peace is palpable and you are so deserving of that, but all of you guys. And I'm not talking
Thank
just
you.
with the move, I'm talking from the minute I've met you until today. This is the most, content, at peace, just feels like things are going your way that I've seen, and I'm just so happy for you. I really,
So
really am.
sweet.
I
Thank
mean
you.
it.
I appreciate that.
You guys have been through it. Which good segue into
Yeah.
when we decided to list our house. You guys still hadn't sold. And reminder to our listeners, Maddie and I were two doors down, next door neighbors. Our homes were very similar floor plans. Ours was different, so it wasn't like a direct competitor, but we were certainly competition. And Chris and I were just sick over it. We're like, I mean, gosh, it was a year later, so we were like, by all means, they'll have sold by the time we do this. And then when you guys didn't, we knew you'd be happy for us. Like, we knew there would be no bad feelings or bad blood. We knew that. However, it felt painful to have to list our home and be like, sorry, Maddie and Tyler, we just made it harder for you guys to sell your house. I remember, I think we texted you guys that morning and we were just like, guys, we got to tell you, I'm so sorry. And as expected, you were like, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Like, we're happy for you.
course.
And
And then tell people how quickly your house sold, Gina. Tell them.
Maddie, I couldn't even. If I saw you in person, I wouldn't even be able to look at you in the eyes. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna kill them. This is going to kill them. Like, talk about putting salt in the wound. So we put our house up on a Thursday. Somebody was looking at your house. They were only in town for the weekend, and they saw our house had just come up on the market, and we're like, oh, we want to go look at that house, and they did, and they put an offer in 2 days later. It's not funny.
No,
It's
no,
not at all funny. I can, obviously we can joke because you are
Yes.
happy and at peace now.
Yes.
But oh my God, was I like, this is going to be the end. This is gonna be what breaks the camel's back for them. I felt so bad. And what I will say though is, this is probably not at all beneficial to hear. You guys kind of like blazed the trail for us. And so like when we got the offer, it was terrible. I mean, to be fair, it was so low, under asking price, almost comically low. We're like, our house has been on the market for a day and you want to lowball us that bad? So we ended up doing some negotiations and got higher, but we used you guys kind of as a North Star of like, we should probably just take this because look at what our poor friends have experienced. We could say no and then sit on the mark. I mean, this could have just been an anomaly, right? It's not like people were knocking down our door. I think we had maybe one other, because, we kept showing even when they made an offer, and there really weren't any. So I think it was truly, we hit the jackpot with this couple. So yeah, so we accepted their offer, and they were like, we can close in 10 days, like thinking that we would like that, thinking that made them more of, more of an asset. And my realtor's like, they have 2 small kids and they're moving to Chicago. They need more than 10 days. And so we got it to 30 days to close. And Chris and I again, looking at what you and Tyler were going through, we thought at least 6 months. I mean, we thought we'd be there for a while. We did not expect to be packing up our bags a month later. So it was chaos. We were trying to find somewhere to live. We had to find daycare. Fortunately, both Chris and I's jobs were remote, so that was already taken care of. And then to add to all of the chaos, my sister-in-law was due with her 3rd son the week we were moving. So my mom, who was going to help me fly up with the boys and just like really be a hand, couldn't, because she was already committed, as she should be, to helping with the newborn. And so it was like, it was a blur. I look back
Yeah.
now and I'm like, how did we get through that? I don't even know what we just did. I just remember being like, I can't tell her. I don't know how I'm supposed to tell her. And then one day you just texted me and you're like, hey, congratulations. I was like, I'm so sorry. And again, 2 things, right? We are all about 2 things can exist. I know you were happy for us. There was not a doubt in my mind, but I know that also had to sting like no other.
Yes. It was 100% and because
Yeah,
we knew what you were working towards. We knew how difficult the process was from start to finish. We wanted all of the things we wanted for us, we wanted for you guys.
right.
It was unfortunate timing all around for all of us. I mean, like, not
Right.
ideal. Like, if we could have all met in the middle where we had
Exactly.
time to process, time to plan, time
Right.
to
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show how supportive I think we both are of each other and each other's family and happiness. That's all we want for each other, is to see each other happy, see us all thriving. We still have a vacation to plan. to go to New
Yes.
England. You guys have to come to us in the summer for sure. But we did it. We made it. And our kids survived. We survived. When you think about this year as a whole, what would you say is a one word to sum up your year?
I think just a year of transition. Literally transitioned from Texas back to New Hampshire. We transitioned from a rental to a home, our permanent location. We transitioned the kids to different daycares and care. We had to learn how to transition back and integrate back into life surrounded by family who hadn't seen us
Mhm.
for 4 years except for vacations here and there. We had to transition and kind of figure out ourselves as well. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like I finally had the opportunity to breathe and start or restart working on myself and what I
Mhm.
needed and be able to do that because not everything was on fire all the time or we weren't just literally just stuck in survival mode. So I think, yeah, my word would be transition and in the best way. I think just continuing to build resilience and slow down and practice joy and it's been hard and it's been really good.
You're always a friend that I know is gonna help me see things in a more positive light. I think back to when we were in the middle of our transition. We're in Chicago in a rental, potentially moving, trying to figure out if I was gonna keep them in daycare, move them in daycare. I remember leaving you voice notes, and then your voice notes back were always just like, "Hey, think of it like this. Maybe this is a good thing. You have a little bit of a longer drive where you can decompress." Like, I admire that so much about you. I always have, but even more so this year and throughout your transitions, I have noticed how much you keep that top of mind and keep that a priority. So, go you.
Thank you. You guys have also had a big
Yes.
year. What word would you use?
Kind of in the same vein, a lot of what you said, but even more so, I think my word would be transformation because yes, we've made a lot of change in where we live and all of the tangible things. But what I have found really has changed the most is myself and just how I think about things, how I handle things, how I process things. I feel like I'm a different person in the best way. Like I feel like I'm a better version of myself than I am today than I was in January. And a lot of it comes down to this feeling of trusting myself and trusting my own intuition and not looking for that external validation. I've always been somebody who needs external validation. I need to call my people and say, "Hey, I want to move to Chicago. What do you think?" And I need them to say, "Love it." If they say, "Ooh, bad idea," then I'm like, "Okay, back to the drawing board." That is so damaging to have that mindset. It's like essentially just letting other people dictate your lives for you. When I was in my 20s, I was just bebopping around the United States. I was like, I'm going to try New York. Uh, Not for me. I need some more people that can smile at me. I don't have thick enough skin for this. Then I moved to Dallas, which I was like, Dallas is cool. I'll probably just stay here forever. But then I met Chris. And so then I went to Chicago, right? So there was no part of me that was shy to the idea of moving. But when you own a home and you have 2 young kids, it certainly changes how easy it is. It's a lot more layers because I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm not even just thinking about Chris and I. Now we're thinking about, okay, how does this affect our kids? So there's just so much more to think about. And I think I would say so much more reason for me to seek external validation. And we didn't. I just was able to see this is what my family needs and make that change. And so I'm just really happy how it all turned out.
I love that for you guys. And
Thanks.
I love that I've gotten kind of a front row seat into all of it as well because I just remember talking to you about gearing up for the move and what the move was gonna be like, and just hearing you say that Chicago and your home now and everything just it's
Mhm.
so you and it just feels right, and
Yeah.
I I know there's still been challenges and there's always gonna be challenges. It's
Sure.
life, right? But to see you guys just tackle everything head on as a family, as a team, and just crush it. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
I can tell you right now, I feel the change in cost of living.
Oh, same.
Oh
Whew.
boy. Daycare right off the bat went up. We weren't paying state income tax in Texas, although I don't think you don't pay state income tax in New Hampshire either. Oh, lucky duck.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Lucky duck. You know what? They'll give it to you. You deserve it.
Hey, they still get you just like Texas, they get you on property taxes. They
Yeah.
get you somehow.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely the attitude and kind of the mindset that I want to take into the new year. I want to protect the needs and the joy and the happiness of my nuclear family more than anything else. And it might ruffle some feathers. People are going to have their opinions, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. What's best for us is what's best for me.
I completely agree. I think one other thing I definitely want to take into the new year is continuing to find joy weekly, daily,
Love. Yep.
whatever that might look like. Because I think even if I just check in and kind of look back at the holidays and that, crazy, what feels like a sprint or maybe a marathon for some, I think I've lost it a little bit. So
Mm.
I want to be more intentional with prioritizing it because exactly to your point, if I can fill my cup, if I can find joy, it'll spill over to my family and I can create magic for them as well.
You're going to laugh so hard when I tell you. So we were in Michigan this weekend. My parents and Chris's parents were both in town, and we were doing this walk outside of where there was a bunch of Christmas trees and polar bears or whatever. There's like a lot of photo ops, if you will. And my mom was like, "Oh, I'd love to get a picture with the boys." They were just being cranky. Jonah had a absolute meltdown because I had to put his coat on. How dare
Mm,
I?
naturally.
So they were just like not feeling it. And I go, "Oh, this would be such a cute photo. Mom, do you want to take a picture here with the kids?" And she goes, "Oh, honey, I don't know. They're not in the best mood." And I went, "Hey, sometimes joy needs to be manufactured. Get
Yes!
I go, "Get
Oh.
in." And I got a picture of them. And I mean, yeah, was it the best picture? Probably not. But was it good enough that it was a memory? Yes. And I just giggled to myself because we can't always wait for it to find us. We have to sometimes make it ourselves. It's so easy for me to take advice from you because you are living a parallel life in the sense of we're both working moms. We both have two kids, one feral, one not. It's just so much harder for me to take advice from anyone that's just not in the same life stage as me because it's like, but you don't get it entirely, right? I get like everybody has their own experience. I don't want to discredit anybody's opinion or experience or advice. It's all valid. But when people are trying to tell me, specifically boomers, "Oh, just enjoy it. It goes so fast." I'm like, "You're probably not wrong, but also when you were raising kids in the 90s, the world looked entirely different. We do not live in the same world you did when you were raising kids." So yeah, easy for you to say, confirmed I'm trying to enjoy it. So by just reminding me that it's not really helping. You're just kind of making me now feel worse when I'm counting down the hours until bedtime or when I'm counting down the days until daycare opens back up. I just can't bring that into the new year. Like, I really need to just drown out that outside noise, especially from people who just don't get it, or at least get me.
Fair. And I think, I don't want to generalize, but I think the boomer generation also has a lot of unsolicited advice that they give, or
Mhm.
you're not even asking for it. And so I think when I think about advice I'm not taking into the new year or don't want to entertain, it is the unsolicited advice. There's so much noise from social media and all of these influencers and all of these
Mhm.
parenting tips and hacks, and it's
Mhm.
so overwhelming, and we're inundated with information on how to parent better, how to get our kids better sleep, how to get them to eat better, how to get them to do X, Y, and Z, what's bad for them, what's good for them. It's exhausting. And so I think if I don't ask for your advice, I don't want your advice. Like, that is my
I know.
motto in the new year. Like, if I need help with something, I will ask you. If I got it, again, going back to, what you were saying about being grounded in your own decisions and not making decision by committee. So, yes, that
Yeah.
is, we're not taking advice either unless we explicitly ask.
It's so true. It's so simple because I even find myself wanting to, like Katie, for example, with her newborn, and when she'll tell me things, I find myself sometimes wanting to be like, "Oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that?" And I'm like, she's not asking. She's not struggling. She's content. Like, I'm not needed here. Real advice, fine. I'm open to considering. If I'm like holding a screaming baby and I'm like, I can't get him to stop, and someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, try this." Like, I'm open. But when people are just like, you gotta just roll with it, you just gotta ignore it. To me, that is the equivalent of telling an anxious person, have you tried just not being anxious? Have you tried that? I can't ignore it. And yes, I cannot take action, but I can't ignore it in my soul. It is still causing an emotional reaction, whether it's anger, sadness, what have you. When my kids are whining for me, whether or not I have a separate set of hands to take over, hearing them, "Mama, mama, I want mama, I want mama," it's still
Oh, yeah.
causes right?
Overstimulating.
Yes, it's like reactive. Like, I react from it. And so I can't ignore it. So when people tell me that, or when people are like, you just got to ride the wave, you just got to embrace the chaos. Like, yes, again, correct. And it's what I'm trying to do. But in that moment, reminding me of that versus, I can see how hard this is for you. This is a lot. Wow, these kids are demanding of you. That's when I'm like, yes, thank you. I feel seen. I feel validated. That to me is going to go way further than, oh, just roll with the punches. I'm like, okay, like, what was I doing before?
Right.
I am rolling with
And
the punches.
and I'm about to roll a punch your way. Thank you.
Oh my God. Actually, though, actually. So that is advice that's not welcome for me next year.
And it shouldn't be. I'd like to double click into that a little bit because along with the advice piece, we should be prioritizing ourselves
Mhm.
and letting go of whatever weight feels heavy. What is one thing in the new year you're going to stop doing or prioritize to keep that lightness about yourself?
Something that really changed the amount of weight I feel on a day-to-day basis is giving up the illusion or the desire or the expectation of having a clean, curated home. I believe that I could do it all. I could have little kids and I could have a nice home and I could have nice furniture, mostly brainwashed by influencers who have probably full-time cleaning staff, nannies, chefs for all I know, right? So I felt this perpetual need to just have a tidy home. And don't get me wrong, I think there's a difference of living in filth versus living in,
A lived in
like
home?
a lived-in home. I didn't give up. I let go of this need because who was it benefiting? Nobody, right? This wasn't like I was making this choice to keeping a clean house was gonna enrich my children's future. No, it was just I liked the way it looked. It looked pretty and it made me feel good on the inside. So we still obviously keep it tidy, but yeah, there's toys out of place. There's piles of laundry in the basement. My car, I truly think there's probably animals living in my car, like, with the amount of trash on the floor and all the
Oh.
things. I've let it go. I'll tell you how I know that I peaked in this area the last time my sister-in-law was here because she has had that mentality for many, many years. She's like, "I want my home to look lived in. I don't want to have, like, perfectly clean counters and, you know, nothing out of place." And we got into my car, and she's like, "Gina, you have changed." And I started laughing. I'm like, "I know." And she's like, "I love this for you." And I'm like, "Me too." It is. It's just like this unnecessary weight that I don't need to carry. I don't. And we're all kind of living it together. And I will say when I do agree with that saying of like one day you're going to miss seeing those cars on the floor and all that stuff. Like I do try and kind of remember that sentiment. It's all just a sign and a memory and a token of this life that we're building.
That's amazing. I think in a similar vein, I am trying to let go of trying to control everything. And I think this has been a theme of my life since Zoe was born. Like, I think that was like the crux of like, you need to just lean in and let go. And I agree. When I stop trying to control everything, I feel lighter. And I almost feel like the need to control everything when the outcome doesn't match what you're trying to control, that's when there's, like, anxiety and disappointment and
Mhm.
all of these negative emotions that just don't sit right, where if you just lean into the chaos and laugh about it or accept whatever's happening, there's just this lightness, and I can enjoy the chaos of my kids more because I'm not concerned with what other people are thinking or saying while they're bouncing off the walls or climbing things maybe they shouldn't be. It no longer serves me. And if I want to experience joy or find joy on a daily or weekly basis,
Yeah.
I need to look for it. I need to manufacture it. So
Yes.
I I do not have the need to control.
I imagine that when you're not feeling the need to control, you're probably more attuned to them, their personalities. I'm curious if you have noticed any types of new learnings of who they are as they're becoming people and if there's anything that has stood out to you.
That's a great question. And little sidebar that's sort of related, but just being present with my children and kind of leading into the chaos. I think I'm 6 months alcohol sober now.
Congrats. Clap
Thank
for
you.
you. Clap for Maddie. That's a big deal. That's a big
Thank
deal.
you.
You're welcome.
What I was noticing during social outings or just events where there was alcohol involved and I was still drinking, I felt that I wanted to sit and socialize and not interact with my kids as much or
Mm.
lean into whatever chaos was going on because I was so concerned with like, I want to catch up with this person or I'm just it's about me and I'm,
Yeah.
trying to let loose or just feel engaged or whatever it is.
Right.
So I think letting go of that and not even having that kind of be a thought or a need or craving anything, I have been so much more present with my kids and it has let me connect with them and see them in a new way. And so I think for Zoe, I'd say one thing that's been really cool to watch and just see this year is how inquisitive she is about
Mhm.
everything. She's a sponge. She
Mm.
absorbs all this information. She is reflective. She asks super thoughtful questions, like she's in tune with her own emotional intelligence. She'll get crayons or markers out and she'll start drawing angry pictures, and we'll talk through,
Oh.
what's making her feel angry. Yeah, she's becoming a little person who has their own
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings and can interact with the world in a more like adult feeling way, which is so special.
Something that I have really noticed about Leo, when he was a young toddler, this, it was always like, oh my gosh, he's got the biggest feelings. He's so emotional. He gets so upset and has these just tantrums that last and last and last. And I think recently I've really been seeing the other side of that in the best way, which is he has the most loving, kind heart. And the way that he loves me is truly the most pure love I have ever felt in my life. Chris would agree. He's just tuned in. Like if I'm even having a bad day, he'll say, "Mama, what's wrong? You're not smiling." Or Chris was out there one day putting something around the porch to make sure that, animals weren't coming in. And Leo walks over and starts clapping. "Go, Dada, you can do it." He's so encouraging, and he wants to lift you up. He wants to make you feel loved. I just love that he is this big feelings boy. It's nice to be able to see the other side of the coin, because when you're only getting the bad big feelings, it's a little taxing, but he loves to just look at me and just say, "Mama, I love you." It is the absolute joy of my life to experience his love. And I hope he loves that big forever. Can't say that's necessarily the same with the littles.
Oh, yeah.
Get clocked in the face from now and again from Jonah.
Yeah, just like a little like two-handed slap to the face and then like a big giant hug. My little
Literal
Sour Patch Man.
Yep.
Yeah. Parky, oh my gosh, though. He is such like a charismatic little boy. I mean, my dad especially loves like talking about his facials, and Parker is obsessed with my dad. His
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, so obsessed. I mean, grandpa as well. Like he's a boy's boy, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, but he's also
Yeah.
a mama's boy. Cappy with the C is what we call my dad, but Parker says Pappy. He calls him Pappy.
Oh, why is
Because he
that
can't
so
quite-
cute?
I
Peppy.
know. But he does this like side little grin. And oh my God, he just knows how to like work a crowd. It's funny, like hearing stories about how I was as a little kid. I see a lot of me as a little kid in him,
Yep.
and just knowing how to push all of the buttons, but then also knowing all the right things to do or say to get the laugh or to, get out of whatever predicament that he's gotten himself into. And he is so sweet and so carefree and
Yeah.
just free to be himself. And there's some things we can lose, but I hope he maintains it overall.
Oh, I don't really know Parker all that well because you guys left when he was still pretty little. But what I can
know.
tell from the pictures, it tracks. He just seems to be living his best life and, beaten to his own drum. So that's great. Jonah's very similar. He is a big ball of joy. He has this ability to just light up a room the minute he walks into it. He's just silly. He's happy. He too is very sour patchy. He'll like clock me in the face, and then I'll say, "Ow, that hurt." He'll laugh, and then I'll tell him, "No, that's not okay," and then he'll rub my head. And it's also actually really funny because he too loves or he's obsessed with my dad.
Yeah.
So my dad is Grandpa. That's his name is Grandpa, but Jonah calls him Papa. When we were in Michigan this weekend, like he just ran to my dad, like he was just gravitating. It was adorable. But he's kind of like a bull in a china shop. Even the way he walks, I'm like, he just looks like he's stumbling home from the bar. Like he just kind of rocks back and forth, and he's just funny. He'll come over to me and go, "Bit bump," which is code for fist bump. and I have to give him a fist bump, and then he goes back to playing. He does. He cracks us up. I hope he always stays this, what I like to say, like, jolly, happy little guy. We called him Happy for the longest time in his
You did.
infancy because he just was always smiling and giggling, and he's coming up on 2 here in, like, a couple weeks. Isn't that crazy? I need to plan that. But anyway, um, it's crazy when you think back of everything that happened and just kind of where we are in this year of 2026. What do you hope for yourself or your family? What do you want to accomplish?
It's a tough question. It's a loaded question. I think because this year was such a transition year and I focused so much on myself and my kids mostly, I think I finally have breathing room to take a step back, and I'd probably say 2 things. I wanna focus on Tyler and I's relationship and prioritizing that, whether it's, just being more intentional with our time or conversations or planning date nights, just taking a breath to make sure that we're supporting each other in the right ways and committed to the relationship in the right ways. And then I think, again, this year was a very expensive year. Buying a home, we bought a second car. It was expensive. So, what we've actually done in the past is like actually built out what our budget is going to look like for the following year and have monthly check ins and have savings goals and allocate our money and just talk about how we're spending it. And we actually just had our budgeting conversation for this year. And I remember it just makes me feel so grounded and accomplished and just confident in kind of what we're working towards.
Mhm.
And I think that was like a big stressor that I probably didn't realize I had this past year of just like budget was blown. Like there was
Wait, right. What budget?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I'm sitting here laughing because everything you're saying, I'm like, "Yep, same." We threw money away. We lit money on fire, literally, because
Ugh,
of,
I'm sorry.
we were in a rental, which we had anticipated to be in for a year so that we could take our time. Well, it just so happens 2 months in, we found our dream home and got our offer accepted. The amount of money we had to break the lease, and then that second move, and we had to be more competitive with our offer, so we had to put a bigger down payment down than we had originally done with our Texas home. And just it was, I can't even think about it. It actually gives me a physical reaction when I think of how much money we spent this year. So similar, kind of getting back into a healthier place with money. Something Chris and I have never been really good at is budgeting. We're just both so frivolous sometimes where we'll be like, fuck it, we're on vacation. Like, let's just do it. So I would like to get a little bit more strict on kind of what that looks like. And not in a way to punish ourselves, but to, set ourselves up for the future, set the boys up for the future. And speaking of vacation, I definitely really, really hope Chris and I get the chance to go on a trip together this year. We have not been on a true vacation. I'm not talking, going out of town for a wedding or something, but a true vacation since I think our 1-year anniversary. And this year will be year 7. So it's been a while. It's tough with kids because, you have to have somebody volunteer to watch them for a week, a week and a half. So it sounds like my sweet mother-in-law is open to the challenge. She's ready to do that. So we're talking about potentially going to Ireland this year,
I
maybe?
love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if we can budget. So gotta do one to get the other. But that's something that I hope for us. But the last thing I'll say is I really do want to focus more on my self-care. Something I've been watching from you is how you're prioritizing your fitness and your eating and, not drinking and really taking care of your body. I read something somewhere that was like, you can pretty much get away with a lot by 36. Once you turn 36, not taking care of yourself is going to catch up with you. And I'm turning 36 in 2 months. So what I'd like to do is start reprioritizing to put myself higher up on that list and lower on the list of things that don't serve me. I'm going to hold us to this, and come the end of the year, when we're recapping 2026, we can pull back this conversation and hopefully we can check off that we were able to do these things, or at least a good old college try, because we don't need any more pressure on ourselves. Let's be honest.
Yes, preach. You can say that. And when we do our look back, well, when we get to it, September? September was our launch month.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We'll do a special edition.
I loved catching up with you, and it was really nice to reflect on our last year and how far we've come. And I am so optimistic for what's ahead in 2026.
All good things. Or we're going to make them good things. Let's just go crush 2026.
Let's do it. See
Woo!
you guys later.
And that concludes your free therapy session, brought to you by two people with lots of opinions and 0 certifications. Don't forget to bill your insurance, emotionally or otherwise. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at GraceWhoPod. That's Grace, WHO Pod.
Tune in next time for another deep dive into something we'll probably overthink and under-resolve. And while our search for grace continues, let's at least try to find a little joy in between.